Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Frosty morning to everybody. 11 degrees here in the seat of Chautauqua County in Mayville. Well, I hope you're all doing well. I like to share with you that at my house we have turned my backyard into dunes. They're all like about this high all on my driveway. Wow, a lot of snow, huh? I didn't realize we were going to get that much snow in, between the last snow we had and this snow. But Brody and I, my little fellow that you saw there just before we started the show, Brody, my little Tibetan Terrier, he loves chasing me around. I'm on the tractor, the snow blowing in my face. It's wonderful, and he's out there. He's just covered in snow, loving it. Being a Tibetan, they're called snow lions. That's their name, little Tibetan Terrier. He's got little webbed feet and all this fur and hair, and he goes flying through the snow like it's like a pool. Great fun. Well, anyways, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon. Good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Thanks for joining us. Also, wherever you are in the world, if you are streaming live with us, hey, how are you doing? I hope your weather's good. If you're down below the equator, some of you that watch us down there, you must be having a nice summer because we're having a heck of a winter. Hey, also remember that if you have an announcement, you have a question for myself, my guest today, you can give us a call at 716-753-5225. Don't be shy. If you are shy, you can leave the question with the operator. Our good friend Randy Burt is on the other end usually, as long as he doesn't lose the call like I used to when I worked with Reed Powers. And he'll get the message to me. Now, you might have a fundraiser. You may have an anniversary. You might have something going on with your club. Don't hesitate to call us. We're happy to share that. You know that when I do the community announcements, I usually have things that have been emailed to me, but we can do live announcements right here because it's the show. I've told you guys this a million times. I mean, we're on show 396 here. This show is all about Chautauqua County. It's not about us here at the studio. We're here to kind of be a conduit of information. So we're here for you. So 716-753-5225 if you want to call us. If you want to email us during the week, you can contact us at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com. You can, I don't know, Twitter us. I don't even know how you Twitter. I don't Twitter. You can email us. You can go check us out on YouTube and Facebook. We're just about everywhere that Chris Burt puts me. Hey, are you enjoying the Olympics yet? Wow, quite a opening ceremony. I watched it yesterday, and the Americans were well represented. I learned, Justin, I have a new term for you. All right, you can just yes or no on this one. Justin is my cameraman, if you never knew this. There's a new event called the female, I want to say this correctly, monobob. Any idea what that is?
Go ahead and guess. It has something to do with sledding.
You're very close. It's the first time that females participate in bobsledding, but it's single, one person, mono being one bobsledder. And I guess we have a champion that is going for the gold. I don't remember her name. But anyways, monobob. I had never heard that term till this morning. And wow, when I was a kid, we didn't have cable. I know, that seems hard to believe. And we didn't have all the other, it's starting to look that way. I am getting old. We only had like 4 channels when I was growing up in Buffalo, 2, 4, 7, and I don't know, 17 or something like that. Anyways, so Saturday mornings you watch either or afternoons, Porter Wagner Western show, or you got to watch Canadian TV and curling. So we were watching curling the other day, and luckily I knew enough about it to explain a couple things to my wife. But
Well, maybe you can explain it to my uncle.
explain it to your family. Okay, all right.
We were watching it Wednesday night.
It's just like shuffleboard for on ice, as far as I'm concerned. It's really fun, though. Anyways, and Mike Ferguson, who's going to be on this show in March, he's a curler, I found out. It was on Facebook. Anyways, so the Olympics are going to keep us preoccupied for a little while there when we get through this crazy season. Of course, you got the Super Bowl coming up, so we got lots of things to watch. Okay, so enough on that.
At least you're not watching the Buffalo Bills.
I'm getting little attacks here on the sideline from the peanut gallery about the Bills. Bills are still my team. All right, let's go to the first announcement today. American Underdog and the Power of the Dog, to show at the Reg Linnaeus Center for the Arts, based on the book All Things Possible by Kurt Warner and Michael Silver. American Underdog will be shown today at 8 p.m. Tells the inspirational true story of Kurt Warner, played by Zachary Levy, who went from a stock boy at a grocery store, I did that, to a 2-time NFL MVP, I didn't do that, Super Bowl champion, and Hall of Fame quarterback. American Underdog is rated PG, and it's 112 minutes long, and that's going on today. Then, in The Power of the Dog, as can be shown Wednesday this week, charismatic rancher Phil Burbank, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, inspires fear and awe in those around him. When his brother brings home a new wife, played by Kirsten Dunst, and her son Cody Smith McPhee, Phil torments them until he finds himself exposed to the possibility of love. The Power of the Dog is rated R and is 125 minutes long. Upcoming movies at the Reg include Ghostbusters Afterlife, I love that series, showing Saturday, February 12 at 4 p.m. The Spider-Man No Way Home being shown Saturday, March 5 at 4 p.m. Tickets are only $7, and they put on an extra $1 for theater restoration, $6 for, hang on. No, that was the $7 for most movies and $6 for family films. Here we go. You can get tickets Monday and Friday from 12 to 5 p.m. or Wednesdays from 12 to 8. And you can give them a call if you want at 484-7070. And that's at the Reg right downtown on 3rd Street in Jamestown. Cassadaga Winter Festival today and tomorrow. Okay. It already started this morning. It goes till 10 o'clock tonight. Sunday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at various locations in Cassadaga, New York. There will be a variety of activities for children and adults throughout the weekend. There will be a frozen 50K run around the lake, snow sculpture contest, fire pits, street hockey. Oh, this is Randy's favorite, polar dip. There's going to be live music, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, and sledding. So that's going on this weekend. If you want more information, go to their Facebook page called CB Casadega. 50K run around the lake. Wow. Wow, that's all I got to say is, hey, snowshoeing. Justin, you ever snowshoe?
Nope.
I do, once in a while. And the one thing you got to remember is don't cross your snowshoes, because if you fall, you may be there till spring, because it's really hard to get up. Okay, next slide, Valentine Celebration. At the Ripley Public Library, my hometown and my library. It's going to be held February 11th, next Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Look at that beautiful graphic. At 64 West Main Street, evening of wine, hors d'oeuvres, and music. Admission's only $10 per person or $15 a couple. What a nice way to spend the evening. Sponsored by the Friends of the Library and benefits Phase 3 improvements of the library. And also the next, the Sunday right after that, I know Meters, one of my underwriters, is having special Valentine's dinner offerings there. So Ripley's coming alive for Valentine's Day weekend. Next one, what's bugging you? First Fridays. All right, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. This is a big, long chart. You probably can't read it. What this is Cornell Cooperative Extension for Chautauqua County is offering all kinds of cool workshops from now through, well, to the end of the year. But I just wanted to mention the topics that we're going to be talking about, because you may be interested in this, because, you know, we don't think about talking to people about different things that come up in our gardens or out in the woods or our animals and things like that, but they offer some really cool programs. So first of all, I want to give you their phone number. It's 664-9502 if you're interested in any of these topics. Recognizing and avoiding woodpecker damage on your home. Our Land, Our Water, a campaign to protect Long Island's drinking water. IPM considerations for composting. Okay. Spotting the spotted lanternfly. In June, surprising ways weather affects your gardening. Mowing matters. Give your lawn the edge. Later on, identification of common garden tomato diseases, and also tips to avoid damage by the horrendous squash vine borer. Things like this are just things that we probably fight with bugs and we don't even know how to handle them in our gardens, and we put all the work into them. All right, in September, tackling white grubs in your lawn, scouting, decision making, and sustainable management. Shoe flies don't bother me is another title. Lawn care in October. And then last is repellents, fencing, and other approaches for managing deer damage in November. And December, they go on to talk about creepy crawly Christmas and what's inside your Christmas tree. So anyways, they got a lot of interesting topics that are available. And again, the number there, if you're interested to know more, is 664-9502, and that's Cooperative Extension. Okay, moving along. 21 Bricks is having soupin, say that quick, soupin Sundays every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 21 Bricks is over on West Main Road in Portland, between Ripley and West Brockton. In between there, stop by the winery to enjoy a bowl of delicious homemade soup and bread. Different soups will be featured each week. For more information, give them a call at 792-2749. I tell you all these things because sometimes there's something you want to do. You want to get out of the house. Scholarships are available. Changing topics for adults returning to college. Are you an adult returning to college or attempting for the first time to complete or further your education? The Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation has several scholarships available to assist you in reaching your educational goals. The Chadwick Bay New York State Women, Inc. scholarship is available to women currently enrolled in college. This scholarship's mission is to build powerful women personally, professionally, and politically. The scholarship builds on their vision to make a difference in the lives of working women and helps to fulfill the mission. Eligible applicants should have completed one semester of college with a grade point average of 2.5 or above. Applicants are asked to submit an essay outlining their educational goals. More information, go to nccfoundation.org. All right, and then there's another one here. Scholarships available for students in healthcare field. I guess I haven't heard about this one before. The demand for the healthcare workers continues to grow nationwide. This is a problem, and especially here in Chautauqua County. The Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation has a scholarship available to help defray some of the costs for students beginning or furthering their education in the healthcare field. The foundation is accepting applications for the Chautauqua County Home Auxiliary Scholarship. Former members of the Chautauqua County Home Auxiliary established a scholarship in 2015. Students from Northern Chautauqua County entering the field of healthcare are encouraged to apply. The committee will consider applications from Chautauqua Nursing and Rehab Center employees and their family members first. All right. For more information, again, go to nccfoundation.org or give them a call there at the Lakeshore location in Dunkirk. Two other ones that I added to the list. There are 3 Rotary scholarships for the entire district. If you want more information, go to the Westfield Mayville Rotary Facebook page, and I posted the information about there. They're like 1,500 and 1,000 and 1,000, I believe. So there's 3 Rotary scholarships for local students here in Chautauqua County. And there are 2 notes from the Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce. Coming up is President's Weekend Festival, used to be known as Ice Castle Festival, and they are still looking for volunteers and vendors. Give the Chamber of Commerce in Mayville a call. And finally, note that they changed the date for the Open Doors Jamestown. That's when they open up a lot of places for free for locals. And the new date is March 5, so you mark your calendar. See how easy that was? You send me the information, I read it, we share it, it's free, and we're here to help you all. So we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
That reminds me of all the dogs I ever had. It goes zooming around, especially in the wintertime. Lots of fun. Okay. Well, I believe this is the first time my guest has been on my show. She was on the Repower show, the Senior Report over the years, and I remember she came one day and, where's your car? She couldn't make it up the hill because she had this little car and it just couldn't make it up Academy Street. It was a horrible day. Imagine that. And here we are, deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra used to say. I want to welcome to my show, Chautauqua Sunrise, Lori Cornell, who's going to tell us all about diabetes and your new job and what you've been doing. So welcome, Lori.
Thank you so much, Doc, and thank you for sharing that that huge moment of pride in my life. But no, I had the same exact deja vu as I was coming up here, and you know how much I loved coming on this show when you and Reed Powers were working together. Very fond memories. But yeah, it was a day much like this. Yeah. I'm sure it was February or March in beautiful, snowy Western New York, and it's a big hill. I had a crappy car. You know, I've always had the low salary of a dedicated public servant. Crappy snow tires. So yeah, nice. I think I called first. I think I said, you know, I'm actually here. I'm not late. You know, Lori Cornell does tend to run late. Anyone who knows me knows that. But I wasn't late. I was here, just actually not in the studio on property. So I hooked it in. But
too funny.
Anyway, wow, yeah, this is so exciting, Doc. Like, you've done amazing things with this program.
Well, it's the team, my whole team, and we all work together. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible step forward, and you know,
different feel to it.
Cherish those memories with Reed, but you're certainly taking this show into leaps and bounds.
Technology
next century, so I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to be here today.
You know,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you're here. You and I have crossed paths for on and off over the years, and I can't remember all the different places I've run into you. I mean, I just saw you this summer. I was up on stage, and hey, Doc, how are you doing? I go, you, Lori?
Oh,
Too
well,
funny.
and we love that small town feel.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I always share with people, I'm from Buffalo originally, and this is the truth. I'm not making this up. I have a tendency to stretch things. But when I was a kid, I always felt like, you know, the stork brought me to the wrong town. I like my parents a lot, but it was like, are you sure I'm supposed to be here? I always found myself climbing trees. I was a Boy Scout. I couldn't wait to go camping. And what's that got to do with Chautauqua County? Everything. Because where I live, it was like where I always dreamed I should be in the country. And so, you know, I say this all the time, Chautauqua County is just an awesome place to live, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So-
And I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I'm a transplant, but I've been here since 74.
Oh, okay. I'm very impressed and know a lot about your long history as superintendent.
Yeah,
and,
we never got a
you
chance
know,
to talk
just
when Reed was here, did we?
altogether well-rounded leader in Chautauqua County.
Thank
But
you.
no, I don't picture you a Buffalo guy. I
me
picture
either.
you with those snowshoes you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I first got the snowshoes, I didn't know what I was doing. And I actually crossed my snowshoes. I fell down, and the snow was really deep. I got hung up on some branches or something. It took me like 15 minutes to get up because you can't reach your snowshoe.
Yeah.
Your stick is over here, the other stick's over here, and you're like,
Wow.
spread eagle.
Well, you sold me. I don't want a pair. Although
No.
maybe I could use the snowshoes
Well,
if I'm lucky enough to be
the sec-
invited on your show again in the winter.
The secret is, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The secret is just keep them straight. you know,
Okay.
just
Well,
keep 'em straight.
I'll keep them in my trunk, and then the next time you invite me on,
There you
like,
go.
I'll
make sure we
walk
do
up
it.
the hill.
Well, you know,
But I made it today.
Yes, you did.
I've got the super powerful minivan now.
I schedule these shows like 3, 4, 5 months out, and I never know what the weather's going to be like.
No, you always invite me in the winter. Yeah.
Reed did. I didn't
Yeah,
really know the hell
It was you. It was your fault.
That'd be me. Anyways, so Gloria, I don't really know. Are you locally born, or where are you from?
Yeah, no. I'm born and raised Chautauqua County, so I grew up in Dunkirk.
See, I did not know that.
And yeah, I always say, well, I'm running out of time to say this, but when I was a county legislator, I always used to say, I literally spent half my life in the North End and half my life in the South End. So born and raised in Dunkirk, met my now husband Chuck Cornell, and he was a Jamestown guy.
Right.
Moved to Jamestown, and that's where we have raised our children, I should say, until 3 years ago we moved to Bemis Point, but still South County family. So I've got both ends covered.
There
and,
you go.
Love our entire county.
And I was just had a meeting on Zoom, and two of us were taking somebody to task because I said I live in Ripley and I'm not in North or South. I'm in West County. So
I don't know. I don't think that's a thing, Doc.
no, it's West County. Just ask anybody from the West. Anyways, so now you have kids. I know they're all boys.
I do. Yep.
So what are their ages?
All boys, my little basketball team. So we have Ben, age 16 now.
Oh boy.
Nate, 15. Zach, 13. And Nick, 12.
You got 4?
Yeah, I'm just speaking slowly. I do know my kids' ages for the audience record, but Doc is writing them down.
I'm writing them down here because I just look at
I'm being courteous.
You're
like,
awfully
but
close in age.
Yeah,
Wow.
no. So that was
You had kids in diapers for a long time.
We had 4 and 5 years, and I was pregnant or breastfeeding for 8 years straight.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was those 8 years that we were most involved in Chautauqua County political days.
Yeah, I think you and I have been Facebook friends for quite a while.
Yeah.
Because I've watched them grow up.
Yeah.
And the thing I always remember is, and I don't know, I'm sure you did this for intentionally, but as they were growing up, I always remember them, like if it was wintertime, they're always wearing the same hat.
Yes.
Or they're wearing the same bow tie, or classy looking guys. I've seen them really sharp.
Oh, well, thank you. And those dress-alike days are, they're waning.
Yeah.
I still get one
Mom,
or
this
two.
is not cool.
Right. Yeah, and then, and even Chuck will start poking at it. Well, you got to at least buy different colors if you're going to buy the same shirt. And so, hey, I'm the one buying the items. I
That's
get to
right.
put them in whatever. But
Well, I got 4 kids, and they're 11 years apart. We spread them out, and boy, when they get together, it's like wow. It's like I don't know how yours
Yeah.
is, rough and tumble all the
No,
time, rough and tumble.
It's crazy.
So you had a variety of different positions. I know you worked in the political realm, and so forth. Did you have other jobs before that, or did you do anything before that? Or?
Yeah. I can I can kick off with that
Yeah,
sort of
sure.
segue, and
Absolutely.
I Grew up in Dunkirk, as I said, earned my bachelor's degree from the University of Notre Dame, and master's from in poli-sci, and master's from St. Bonaventure in their professional leadership program. And my first job out of the gates was actually a volunteer position for AmeriCorps. So I was an AmeriCorps volunteer for a year in Wilmington, Delaware, of all places. And it's always been hard for me to explain how, I did inner city development work in Wilmington, because people think of Wilmington as, maybe not the most needy, credit card capital of the world, but, certainly a lot of poverty anywhere you go in the United States, whether it be urban, rural, suburban, whatever. So, I worked with various communities there, from the Hispanic population, the prison population, homeless, and enjoyed that opportunity. And then came home to Chautauqua County to have the great pleasure of working for our former county executive, a few county executives ago, Mark Thomas, and then Sam Teresi, when he was just a wee lad in his 30s, snatched me up when he became the mayor of Jamestown.
He had a
So
long
I was
run
his
there.
first executive assistant.
Oh, wow.
And went on from there to move to Washington, D.C. for a brief time.
I remember something about
yep,
that. What were you
I
doing
worked
there?
on Capitol Hill for 3 years. I dragged Chuck with me back then.
So who did you work for?
I worked for Carolyn McCarthy, Congresswoman from Long Island, and Bart Stupak, Congressman from Michigan. They're both now retired. And then I just really, my heart has always been here in the county. And Chuck and I were getting married, wanted to raise our kids here. Hadn't had kids at that point, but we moved home, and Bill Parment was kind enough to employ me. And oh my gosh, that's one of my greatest professional opportunities of having
He was a state assemblyman.
Exactly. Bill Parment was our longtime 20-year state assemblyman, and the opportunity to have him as a mentor and friend is, one of the greatest professional things that I'll cherish in my life.
Yeah.
So did that for 5 years, and then moved on to running for office. I ran for Chautauqua County Clerk against an amazing giant, beloved Sandy Sopak, who. I have such amazing, hold her in such amazing high esteem, and I did that, and definitely lost, which was fine, but I went from there to running for Chautauqua County Legislature, served as minority leader, and worked in that capacity for 4 years, ran for Chautauqua County Clerk again, against our current county clerk, Larry Barmore, also a very wonderful public servant, and Larry and I are really good friends. I think he's doing an amazing job as county clerk, but I lost that race too in 2013.
We were comparing notes. I mean, I run for office. You don't win them all.
I'm sort of in the wrong party in Chautauqua County, but be that as it may, democracy, small d, is at its best when you have people on both sides. But we didn't come here to talk about politics today, so
but this all leads up to where we want to get to.
Where I am today,
because,
exactly.
In all the positions I've had, in all the offices I've held, it's the network. It's all about the network, I think, and that's where I want to go with you today. Is in order to take on new roles, you're hired or you're interested in a position that you feel comfortable with to say, I can pick up the phone and I can call so-and-so. You would not believe, and I'm sure it's the same for you, people will text me all the time. Can you tell me how to get a hold of blah, 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 blah? And I tell them, do this. Somebody will email me and say, do you know the phone number for so-and-so? I said, just a minute. I have it on my contact list, because we do this in Chautauqua County, because we're, or the region. It could be New York State, it doesn't matter. And so I have a feeling it's pretty similar for you
Exactly,
as well.
Yeah, exactly. And public service, I always say public service has always been my passion. It's all I've ever wanted to do is, work on behalf of the betterment of our community.
Were you a Girl Scout?
I was.
Bingo.
My mom's my Girl Scout leader.
I've asked people this question, especially Rotarians, because they're public servants.
Yeah.
Are you a Rotarian?
Kiwanian.
Same thing.
Good
enough. Good enough.
The Kiwanis Club is going to like pick up the
Public
phone. I'm
service.
going to have a message when I leave the show because I haven't been in Kiwanis since. Well, I'll conclude. Then after I lost for county clerk.
Yeah.
I worked for 7 years for New York State, so I worked for the governor's
and
office.
when I said the same thing, what I mean is both community service organizations, different missions, different things. But
absolutely in
same
Kiwanis.
idea.
So anyway, while working for the governor's office, like I had to resign all of those types of positions, like
conflicts
Kiwanis,
of interest and all that.
So I should get back to Kiwanis or
Rotary's
Rotary.
really good.
Now my
But anyways,
phone
I
will
asked that
ring.
question. If
So
anybody
anyway, public service.
But I ask people that all the time.
Yeah.
Were you a Boy Scout or Girl Scout? And they're almost 99% of the time they go, yeah.
It's an amazing organization.
And but we follow that public service from childhood right through adulthood.
Yep, and that's exactly why I'm fortunate enough to have launched into this opportunity because to me, now one of my greatest passions is my children, and I have 2 children. Not to jump on your questioning.
No.
But
I was going
two children with type 1 diabetes, and so the opportunity to direct my passion to help make improvements, make a difference in the world, and have it so directly impact my children means the world to me. And I'm just so grateful to JDRF to afford me this opportunity, and to all of our friends and family who have long supported our fundraising efforts for a cure.
Okay, let me say something just before we go further. All my contacts, all my research, all my discussions, the number one ravaging disease in America today is diabetes. True or false?
True.
It's true.
True, and it's on the rise.
And it's crazy, and I never realized it till I started looking around and started talking to people, and it's like it's in my own family, and we're so sensitive to that. The other thing is watch TV. Every other commercial is something to do with diabetes. You know what I mean? And so it's like, whoo. So you took a new position. What's the name? What's the name of the organization and your title?
Sure. We go by the acronym JDRF, which stands for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and we are the leading organization in the fight against type 1 diabetes, and I can get into that for your viewers.
It's right here. I got a question for you.
Explain the difference. Oh, I see that. The difference between type 1 and type 2.
Yep.
But we specifically have 3 main goals.
Okay.
We fundraise for a cure. We advocate for policies that help accelerate access to therapies for type 1. So fundraise, advocate, and we support our community of people with type 1s to the tune of 1.65 million of them across America.
When you say support, what do you mean by that?
So, well, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
So when my children were diagnosed, and Ben, my oldest, is 16 now, he was diagnosed 6 years ago at age 10. And my son Zach, now 13, was diagnosed. So it's my number 1 son, my number 3 son.
Exactly
so Zach,
right. 16 and 13.
Zach, 13, was diagnosed 4.5 years ago at age 9. And so when my children were diagnosed, we were given information in the hospital about JDRF and had the opportunity to reach out and connect, and feeling like so overwhelmed with a disease as difficult as diabetes, whether you're the type 1 himself or a parent like me, having that overwhelming feeling, having that feeling of, oh my gosh, everything is so new, and what do I do? And tips and support. Like when you have access to this entire community of 1.65 million others, not every single one is involved in JDRF, but we have a massive ranks of people that are out there that have been living with this disease successfully for years and years, and they just kind of wrap your arms around you. So when I reached out to our local chapter, it was like a new day. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And that support is, again, one of the main functions that we like to provide. The main function is we don't want to have to support anymore. The main function is fundraising for a cure, getting rid of the darn thing.
All right, get rid of your job.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's what I used to say.
Actually-
It's on my jobs. I'm working to get rid of myself, but I'm not being very good at it.
That's my 12-year-old. He had to like kind of put two and two together. My son Nick, for a minute when I was hired, he said, "Now, wait a minute. Your job is to make sure you don't have a job." Yep.
Yep.
Yes. He's like, "Well, then wouldn't you be sad?" I said, "No.
No, it'd be a wonderful day, a
Zach
great
wouldn't
day."
have diabetes, and and it's an autoimmune disease, but there's genetic links too. So even my sons, I tell my sons Nate and Nick, I threaten them, you better fundraise too, you better help and get out and do those JDRF walks, because by virtue of the genetic links, like to put it bluntly, their children
Absolutely.
also have a greater propensity
yeah.
to getting diabetes and getting
As I was
type 1.
saying, in our own family, on both sides of my family, my wife's side, both my parents, especially through my mom's side, there was diabetes. And it was something like, well, so you got diabetes.
Yeah.
You didn't
Type 1?
2, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and back
I
then.
mean, my grandmother and her sisters, I mean, they're, how
Right.
old would they be now? I
Right.
don't even know, 120
Yeah.
years ago. They would have been long gone by now. I have no idea, but
Yeah.
you go blind, you lose fingers, toes, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then another generation came in and said, we take a pill. Blah, blah, blah. And then the next generation was my generation. It's sort of like, okay, well, you insulin shots, you do this, blah, 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 blah. And now we got technologies and we got beepers and we got things on you can use, and you zap your shoulder and you can see what's going on and things like that. So before we go any further, where are you located? I mean, this is new to me.
Yes.
So where are you?
So I'm here in Chautauqua County. So I work remotely. That's purposeful on JDRF's part. We are very, very careful to steward our research dollars. So there's extremely little money wasted on things like staff offices, additional staff. There are just 4 of us. In our in our entire Upstate chapter that manage that entire what is it, probably a 45 or so county region. So, and I oversee Western New York.
Okay.
So development director for our Upstate chapter with responsibility of the 8 counties of Western New York.
Okay.
So I am out and about, and at this point in our still a little bit COVID land, I should say, doing a whole lot of Zooming.
Yep.
But
So you're doing guest speaking and presentations?
This is my first public presentation. So
Well, I'm happy to be here with you
I was
then.
hired just 3 months ago.
Well, I saw that in the paper and I
and
jumped right on it.
yeah, no, I really appreciate it. And
So those
hired just
listening
3
right now
months
from the
ago,
Rotary and the Kiwanis
and just
clubs,
doing a lot of
for
Zooming.
the Rotary and the Kiwanis clubs, if you need a speaker, which you
Sure.
always do, your
I
local
would absolutely.
the senior citizen groups, which would be a great group to talk to, right?
That's great, and
How do they get a
get
hold of
me
you?
out and about
How do
in
they get
the
a hold
other
of you?
8 counties too. So my cell phone is 720-1845.
Whoa, 720. Yep.
1845.
See how I did that? I did it real slow so people could hear it.
Yes, 720-1845. Sorry,
Okay.
it's been a minute since I've been on public access. But email, you can always email me. That's probably an easier thing to remember. L Cornell, as in Lori, L Cornell, spelled like the university. No relation to Ezra. At JDRF.org. Not com, org. lcornell@jdrf.org.
Okay, super.
So yeah, and certainly I hope your listeners will explore JDRF in general at jdrf.org. But I would love to hear from anyone, type 1 community or otherwise. And there's actually a donation link too, if
There you go.
if you would like,
Super.
on the JDRF site.
So what I've been doing for the last 8 years on this show, in many cases, we brought in folks from different agencies and we've been trying to shine a light on them, okay? And it's overwhelming to me personally at times when I hear about statistics, when I hear about how many people are involved with the topic that we're discussing. Doesn't matter. And this is the first time on this show that we are talking about diabetes. So, diabetes, it's your body fighting with things in it. So let's talk about it in layman terms, best wherever you want.
Sure.
There's type 1 and there's type 2.
Yep.
Just 2 types?
Just 2 types.
So they're not inventing a third one or anything like that.
Well,
Oh, I knew
I'll
it.
get
I
into the
knew it. There's
weeds
gotta
on
be
that
a-
one.
there's a-
I can. Let me get through. I'll do type 1, type 2, and then I'll tell you about this 1.5 theory.
Okay.
But so type 1 diabetes
Yes.
is an autoimmune disorder. So much like cancer, where your body attacks itself, type 1 diabetics lose their beta cells. So your immune system attacks itself and kills off your beta cells. Now, layman's terms, what the heck are beta cells? So everyone is born with beta cells. They're on your pancreas, in your I believe on your pancreas, and they produce insulin. We all know you need insulin in order to break down the sugar in your body and live. You cannot ingest sugar, and by sugar I mean carbohydrates.
Right.
So anything that has glucose in it, you cannot live if it's not properly broken
And we all know the
down
American
with
diet
insulin.
is hardly has any of that in it.
Right, exactly. Further complicating both types of diabetes. But in type 1 diabetics, their beta cells have been killed off.
Okay. Permanently?
Permanently, they are
You
gone.
can't grow them back. And I'm not fooling
Cannot-
around now. I just
oh, yeah. No, exactly. It's a great question. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to answer that question 6 years ago
Yeah.
before my sons
All
were
right.
diagnosed.
So the pancreas is in trouble.
Well, the pancreas continues to function, but
person's
not
in
with
trouble
insulin.
because the pancreas can't do
not
its
producing
job.
insulin.
Okay.
You have a pancreas that is, broken, like type, kind of the mantra in type 1 communities, my pancreas is broken.
Okay.
Still there, but no beta cells, no insulin production. Can't get it back.
Okay.
So to live, type 1 diabetics must take insulin either through injection, either through a shot or through their insulin pump,
Not
which
pill.
is the technology. No,
Pills are out. That's different.
Not for type
That's
1.
type 2.
No, that's a control measure for type 2.
Okay.
Type 2 diabetes is caused, according to scientists, by genetics and lifestyle factors. Okay, in which most type 2 diabetics still have their beta cells, but they're not working properly.
Okay.
They're there. Their body should be able to produce insulin, but it's inhibited. Those beta cells are inhibited. Type 2 diabetes can oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes be improved by diet and lifestyle changes. Now, can you say, oh, someone ate too many donuts and cheeseburgers and it's their fault, now they have type 2 diabetes and that's how it's caused? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Many fit people have type 2 diabetes. Many people that have the most healthy diets you ever saw have type 2 diabetes. It's also a hereditary disease and not something that can be helped, just like type 1 diabetes.
Is type
can't be
1
helped.
hereditary?
Type 1 is known to have hereditary links, but more and more we're finding cases that either we can't determine the hereditary link properly, like you alluded to with your family. Mine, we don't have any known type 1 links,
Right.
but my great-grandfather was blind and died, supposedly
likely,
died of diabetes,
yeah.
and maybe he had type 1. Like
Right.
probably many of your ancestors were misdiagnosed, as was common in the past. So, insulin for type 1s, not type 2s. Type 1s can't, or type 2s in general, there's lots of exceptions, and diabetes diagnosis and care and management is kind of getting a little bit murky. There's a lot of change going on right now, and I don't want to get too far in the
No,
weeds, like I
that's okay.
said, but in general, type 2s can't take insulin and be cured.
Right. It's maintenance for the rest of their lives.
Type 1, or I'm sorry, type 2s don't generally take insulin. Type 1s have to take insulin in order to live, and they can't currently be cured.
All right, let's go back to type 2. Type
Yeah.
2,
Yeah, sorry, I
they take
muddled that up.
insulin. Type 2?
Type 2s, no, I'm a type 1 expert, not a type 2.
Okay.
I believe some type 2s are taking insulin now. I've and metformin, a drug which helps
Trulicity,
to
metformin, they
right.
got all this.
But those drugs are not insulin. Those help to
Right.
deal with the with releasing the inhibition of
Right.
the beta cells.
And
Is my
therefore-
understanding.
Therefore, the J
So-
for our discussion today is for juvenile, which is type 1.
Exactly. And,
Okay.
and the reason that JDRF has gone to trying to use simply the acronym is because type 1 was formerly thought of as, it was formerly called juvenile diabetes. It was thought of as like the children's disease because in the past, it was thought that only children would get this disease.
But that's
they
not the
were
case.
diagnosed
You
as
can
children.
get
Not
it
the case. Yeah.
Later on, in your
More and
later years, you
more,
can be
yeah,
discovered.
we're finding more and more adult diagnoses. So 20s, 30s,
Yeah,
40s,
I know
all
someone that's in
age.
that situation.
Yeah.
They just learned they were type 1. And they were being treated as type 2. And it
Exactly.
was making a mess of things, so they
Right.
figured out. Okay,
Right, because the treatment is very different,
definitely.
but
Medication's different, everything's, the regimen's different.
Exactly. But the results are very similar. So heart failure, kidney failure, issues with fingers and toes and circulation issues being lost, a shortened lifespan.
If untreated.
Management certainly helps it in both cases. And again, let me just speak to type 1 on that because I'm not the type 2 expert, but type 1 diabetics still have a shorter lifespan than someone without type 1. However, yes, good management practices can certainly help alleviate
Take
that.
a breath.
Yep.
Folks, you watch. No, you're passionate, and that's what we want. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. My guest today is Lori Cornell, who is the Development Director for Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Did I get that right?
Absolutely,
That's why
yeah.
I take notes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you have a question, we still have about 13 minutes or so, or 12 and a half. So give us a call, 753-5225. Don't be shy. Okay, back to what we're talking about. This
Sure.
is, I'm learning stuff here left and right. I know a lot about type 2. I don't know anything about type 1.
Yeah.
All right, so viewers, listeners right now that might say, I got kids, or I know somebody that I'm concerned about, but I'm not sure. And you're not a doctor, I know that.
Yeah.
But what are the symptoms? What are the flags for type 1
Yeah. No,
diabetes?
that's I can do that. So,
Okay, let's do it.
Weight loss, thirst, and frequent urination are the top 3 symptoms for someone developing type 1.
All right, weight loss and urination, and what was the third one?
Frequent urination and thirst.
Oh, thirst.
Unusual thirst.
Okay, I missed that one. Okay.
Unusual extra thirst.
All
So,
right.
and
the fluids are running out of them faster than they can keep up with. it
yeah,
sounds like.
the reason for that is it's the body's response to not being able to break down the sugars.
Mm-hmm.
So stop producing insulin. Insulin breaks down sugars, so that's how the body reacts to expel the extra glucose.
So the sugar building up your system is terrible. We don't want
Yep.
sugars building
Yep.
up in our systems, however it affects us.
Causes immediate death.
Right.
So if someone has diabetes and they go into what's called ketoacidosis,
Right.
even prior to them knowing that they have diabetes but being diagnosed, they can die, in a matter of weeks to months to weeks.
All right, so weight loss, and we're talking gradual, or quick, or we just
Yeah, and I mean when I say they can die immediately, like there's time and varies person to person.
Yeah.
Like it's thought that someone develops diabetes over a matter of years and then starts to show symptoms severe like that, and over a matter of months. And so, that it can result in hospitalization pretty quickly.
all right. So in with young kids, they're playing, they're running
Yeah.
around, they're hard to
Yep.
pin down. So will you see these symptoms in young kids? Weight loss?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they're not that big to start with most
Right,
of the time.
right, and then and becoming sick and
Pale,
weak
probably, and
and
tired and worn out, I would think.
And it's most diagnoses come from someone being hospitalized, come from not knowing what's going on, and they fall into ketoacidosis and end up in the emergency room. Not all. And so that's such a great question, is to know what the signs and symptoms are. Interestingly enough, COVID is further contributing to the rise in type 1 cases. It's kind of the worst of both worlds because both type 1s and type 2 are considered vulnerable populations. Like they're hit harder by COVID. And COVID is they're now researching one of the known causes of increased type 1.
So how do young folks like your sons handle this? I mean, what's their thinking? Is this the end of the world, or it's just it's one of those things? Or?
No, thank you for asking that because I'm just so proud of them. Like in the JDRF community, we like to call kids like mine T1D heroes, and they truly are because not only they're teenagers now, so not only do they deal with the daily grind of being a teenager and school and sports and socializing, and Ben just got his driver's license, staying safe on the road.
Stay off the sidewalks.
Right, but they manage this 24/7 disease, and there's no breaks. They can't say, "Oh, I'm going to my friend's house tonight, and I just, I'm going to have pizza and hopefully no other substances and just chill and enjoy my night." They're constantly paying attention, worrying about maintaining their blood sugar.
How do they do that?
Oh, I put my cell phone down here, so
Yes.
pardon me, camera, but I can show you. You alluded to the amazing technology, much of which has been made possible by the research JDRF has provided, as is the case of this. I hope it works. Okay. What's called a Dexcom,
Yes.
Continuous glucose monitor. Yes, and a lot of persons with type 2 use these now as well. We have a lot of great crossover support between type 1 and type 2 technology, but this, I don't know if the camera can see where but
if you hold it still, they'll zoom
Okay.
in on it. Okay,
All right.
there we go. See how we do that?
Zach's going to kill me, but this is Zach's current blood sugar, my 13-year-old. He's currently 169, as the viewers can see. And he's within range. It's a little bit high, and he's got an arrow going
You can
up.
monitor it.
But I can monitor this.
Mom monitors his sugar levels.
Yeah, he shares. He
Okay.
monitors 24/7 on his phone. He connects to this. This is a monitor that's inserted into his
Right,
arm,
it's a little tiny
or wherever
needle.
he
Yep.
puts it on a fatty tissue part of his body, and he shares his data with me.
Okay, and basically,
So
you
24/7.
take a phone like this, you do this, and it registers it, and it's done, right?
There's two types.
Or the one that just
my kids have
remotely
Dexcom.
does it, yeah,
Yep,
like a
it's
Bluetooth
remote
type thing,
24/7, and the kind you just mentioned is a different type where you put your phone.
I've seen both kinds. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. We got a phone call.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, caller.
Well, good morning, Doc. This is Linda Spalding. Good morning, Maury.
Oh,
It's
so
so
good.
wonderful to see you on the show. You look the same as you did 20 years ago.
I like this lady.
She doesn't say that about me, though.
Linda's so good to hear from you. Doc does
Remember me,
too.
it's been so
Oh,
long.
Aw.
But you really do. What is your secret? You drink water from the fountain of youth?
I'm drinking some water. I have this wonderful coffee that they provided me today in my
Good.
favorite Access Chautauqua
There you go.
cup. Oh, thank you, Linda. I appreciate
You
that.
really do. You really.
Oh.
I thought, I can't believe it.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
great.
I'm probably wearing the same clothes too.
No.
Busy poor mom.
But I would love to talk to you sometime and talk to how Peg is and stuff like that.
Sure.
Because I think Peg moved away, didn't she?
She did, yeah. I don't think she cares if I announce publicly Peg Cornell has moved to Lakewood. So,
You heard it first here.
so we will always cherish our memories on Lakeview Avenue in Jamestown. But she wanted to actually move to the backyard of her other grandchildren.
Oh, that's a great idea.
My sister-in-law's
That's great.
backyard, Kathy.
Yeah, well, tell them all I said hello.
Will do. She even chopped down the trees, so like they in between their properties, she could
Grammy's
just
here.
run right over it. Yeah. I love Peg. I'm fortunate to have the best mother-in-law ever.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question. You're talking about the first type of diabetes, which you're very familiar with. Is if it's not, you said there's some thought about it might not be genetic. how is that possible then for such small children to develop it if it's not inherited? Because my stepfather had diabetes at the age of 4.
And type 1, I didn't know that, Linda.
Yeah.
Wow.
My stepfather did. This was a long time ago.
Okay.
Of course, he was born in Italy.
Oh, wow. Well, I would love to talk to you about that more offline sometime. That must have been quite an experience at
Yeah, well,
that
he had to take insulin
time.
all of his life, of course.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
Twice a day, I think he took it.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Was it one? I know he took it every morning.
huh, yeah, we should get together. I missed you guys anyway, you and Doug. But yeah, let me address that. I'm so glad you answered because I don't want to have misspoken. So certainly, they believe there are hereditary links to type 1. I mean, they can account for that, like in many type 1's lineage. However, it's not always the case. They believe there are other triggers, perhaps environmental triggers, perhaps biological triggers. And as I was trying to explain, again, totally not a biologist, so bear with me on all of this, but one of the newest triggers, scientists believe, is COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
I
I agree with you 100%.
Oh, I can believe that. COVID does a lot of things.
Well,
of
yeah.
things.
I mean, type 1 amongst God knows how many other health problems, mental and physical. So,
And I also had, when I taught school, I had a student who was 8 years old who had the type 1 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's tripled. Type 1 diagnosis has tripled in a generation, and like I said, more and more cases of adults. I heard of an adult that was in their 70s that just got diagnosed recently with type 1.
Oh.
So,
Isn't that astounding?
yep, and just before I forget, you'll be interested to hear this too. I'm sure that now they're saying. It's not official, but they're sort of like tongue-in-cheek naming some adult diagnoses as type 1.5.
Okay.
So a lot of adults that were previously misdiagnosed as type 2s, now doctors discovering and re-diagnosing them as 1s. So,
I see.
So there's that sort of new term.
Well, thank you very much for answering that, Lori.
Yeah.
And I hope you both have a great weekend and stay warm. It's supposed to be really frigid tonight.
Thanks so much. Let's grab coffee sometime soon. Get a hold of me.
Okay, I would love to. Thank you,
All
Lori.
right, Linda, thank you. Okay, Lori, we got about a minute and a half left.
Oh, my
That went
goodness.
quick.
Yeah.
So, what do you offer the community and a phone number?
Sure. Well, I would just like to, say thank you so much to you for having me on the show
Absolutely.
today
We'll
to
do it
bring some
again.
awareness about type 1 diabetes, and to our entire community in Chautauqua County. So many have supported my sons and all of the 1.65 million Americans out there with this
Type 1.
Type 1, yeah, exactly. It's a difficult disease, but I'm proud of everyone, proud of my sons for all they do to manage it on a daily basis. And I'm confident with an organization like JDRF, being a powerhouse in research that we are, we're going to combat it. And I'm not going to be sitting here in, who knows, 10, 20 years.
Me either.
Still talking about
Maybe
type
10,
1
but
diabetes.
maybe I don't know about
Yeah,
20.
we're making strong advancements, and I'm excited to now be a professional part.
Well, good for you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, folks, and the phone number for contacting
Yes,
you is?
sorry, 720-1845.
Okay, and Lori Cornell, L. Cornell at JDRF.org.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, Lori Cornell's been my guest today, folks, and if you want to learn more about type 1 diabetes, she's the lady, right? And I hope you learned something, and we're going to bring you back. You're going to give me an
thank you.
update
Yes.
sometime
Yeah.
in the future. I'm Doc Hamels. I got to go. We'll see you next time. We got more shows coming up. Next week is going to be pre-tape. We'll explain that later. All right? Thanks, Lori, for joining me
Yes,
today.
thank
All right,
you.
stay right there. You relax a minute.